test to become an MC.
Oh shit, you were rocking it today.
I want to thank everybody for coming to our opinion talk show. And we have Miss Renee and Mr. J.
What's up?
Alright, introduce yourself.
Hey, what's up? I'm Jalen. I'm a Republican, and I came from over from Syndonia to talk about that you should vote for Kim Klacik because she is speaking real fast.
Okay, and
Let's go.
I am Renee, and I'm happy to be here discussing our opinion.
thank you. And then, sir, your name? You gotta step over here.
Who, me?
No, no.
The young man behind me.
Yeah, y'all already know what it is. It's the home Tyrone.
Okay.
The
All
number
right.
one black in the streets.
What's the first topic?
You got the notes all the way over
The
there.
first time I was there, I didn't
So where in the back seat, right? In the front seat?
Oh, no, never mind, because they're not coming. No, she's not.
I was
She's
talking
not
about the
allowed
trunk.
to be scripted.
The
I'm
trunk.
checking the truck.
It's an
All right, okay, the first topic is talking about the shooting in Baltimore.
Okay. He said the shooting in Baltimore. So how do we feel about the shootings that's going on around in the city?
It's a madhouse.
It's not good.
Crazy. And the only way we're gonna put a stop to it is that if we get the same, if we get a change, like for instance, we had our leaders failed us. Oh my bad. Our leaders failed us when we needed them, and with it's just that we got too much trust issues, and everyone is like scared, and everyone's like really like scared to go out. This is why.
Right.
And
That's
not
why.
only that, it's just for the money.
Right. So that's why we having all these shootings in Baltimore.
That's because we always want money. People are like fighting for money. All of it's just for they can get a big rich house.
Oh,
It's
okay.
really not going any good.
Okay. All right. All right, Renee.
Well, the way I feel about it is, first of all, we gotta change leadership. We need to change that whole city council board. And
That's
we
what
need
we
to,
do all the time.
also have a table where, you know how, for instance, if we have a lot of big lawsuits that we're paying out on, and all of it's behind police officers, which everybody is saying they should get, but you gotta remember at the end of the day, we want justice, but the money they paying out is our tax dollars. That's still coming from us for stuff that they did. We should have them be accountable for what they're doing. So if you do get charged and you are found guilty, I believe that it should come from you. The restitution should come from you, not from the city. Because I didn't beat nobody. I didn't knock them out. I didn't have them confess, and then they spend almost half their life in jail, and you find out later, oh, they didn't do it. Now we got to pay for it, but we already in a deficit now. We already owing up. We already went into the emergency fund. We done already did these things. One of the things I tried to bring up to him, and this fact, I know we're talking about the shootings, but a lot of this plays into it. And one of the things that I wanted to express is like, for instance, I was trying to explain to him maybe a day or two ago how we used to have, he was complaining about the trash, the smell and stuff. I said, well, when we was coming up, we had 2 days of trash. They never used to have the recycle at first, but we always had 2 days. I remember we had Monday and Friday. Now, the next time, as time go on now, we have recycling day, which gave us an opportunity to get rid of trash 3 times a week, you know, because you had your boxes, your plastic, but you still had trash day. Then they took one of the trash days away from us, which means we had 1 trash day, 1 recycle day, right? Now, we only got 1 trash day, because they're not doing recycle right now. Or you can bring it to them. But again, why are we doing something that we already pay for? Why do we have to pay for something that we already pay taxes on? None of these services should be stopped, because you're constantly taking it, every time somebody go to work, you taking their money.
Mhm.
And the way it's miscellaneous and all that extra tax and Maryland tax and Baltimore City tax, you're still being paid. So why are we being pretty much double dipped?
Mhm.
And so what I was trying to tell him, I was saying, if there's no pickup, that's why it smells like that outside, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So if we're not cleaning up, it's not on us. And then they talk about get rid of the rats. The rats is coming because you're not picking up the trash.
Mhm.
Okay? It's not the people there. And how long you think their trash gonna stay neat? It's gonna start falling. You got pigeons, you got all kinds of stuff. Animals roaming around. One time we was coming up, you had the truant office, you had the dog catcher, you had all these things that was working. And I'm not understanding how they say we don't have money. We're paying taxes for these services. These are things that are allotted to you as a citizen, as a homeowner, or renter, or whatever. You're being paid. So if we don't clear that board, none of this from the shootings on up, nothing's gonna be done, because we got the same old people in there. Never lose their seat because nobody runs against them. Like the Conways, they always down there with the signature stuff. You know, different things I'm saying, like this
No one won't just go out and vote. That's the fault.
Okay, so my thing is the shooters. I feel, my opinion is, I believe a lot of the shootings are happening because these kids, that generation, I don't know, I know they was called baby boomers, Wheeler baby boomers, and then what's the next one? What's the next one?
baby
Boomers, the millenniums,
the millennials.
the millennials. Okay,
You're right.
so I believe that if when they during that time, if those kids had something to do, I have a 12-year-old, 13-year-old now. My fault, Dre. And he's into Pilates. What's the name of it? Pilates, the jumping stuff that they do. What's the name? No, what's the jumping stuff that y'all do? Parkour. He's into. I'm not pronouncing it right.
Hardcore.
All right, so him and his friends wanted to go out and practice that, and they was out, which they shouldn't have been, jumping on top of a school. Right. So when I found out, I told them not to do that no more. But they don't have anything to do.
Right.
They don't have no recreational centers like we did.
Right.
No different, what was the police camps like we had, where the police came out and got them and played football and baseball and things. That's what
Like
I
we had
believe.
Rex, we went to.
Right.
We had the Weeds, we had Walter B. Clark.
Right, and it was
We had
all
the Dome.
free.
Yeah,
It was all free for the
everything's
kids. The police was out in the community. We knew, what was the police name we used to know?
Yeah, Mr. Murdoch.
Mr. Murdoch and all them in the
Mr.
neighborhood
Sweeney,
would come
Mr.
out.
Newkirk, all
Yes,
of them.
they would come in our neighborhood. They would sit with us. If they seen us doing something, they would take us home to our parents. Not shoot us because we on a bus stop with a toy gun.
And I can tell you
So-
something else is true that she's saying. Like the politics now, the politicians now, we don't really know all of them. We never really met them. But I can
But-
tell you this, we lived in Goldens. And I remember Mary Pat Clark, the other lady, was Claudia Simpson, Mary Pat Clark, and she retired last year. What was her name? This is another name. This is
I
another
forgot her name, the older lady with the
Yeah.
brown hair.
And I remember them walking down Glenwood.
Mm-hmm.
They would be in our neighborhood.
Yes, door
Not
to
just
door.
before, this wasn't no election time, this one, and they stopped, I remember them stopping on the corner of Reading and Glenwood, and they would sit there and talk to us and ask them, and so how, you know, and that's how we met. I could say I actually shook this person's hand, or I shook this person's hand, and my mom, she worked for a telephone company for 33 years, and she was a union rep, so we was always on the picket line, because the telephone company was always picking. And some of the women there were married to, like, Clarence Davis and all those guys like that. So we got to know all those people. I could say, I knew what they stand for, Billy Murphy. I could say, because they were out in the community, they came to talk to us, we knew them. The people now, when you see them, it's only election time.
Mm-hmm.
I got a lady, true. She lived maybe not even 5 houses up from her. She get ready going now. That's the lady Cheryl Glenn. She our neighbor. she never talked to nobody. She's never been pleasant. She's never. But when she's standing in front of that school, don't get them in there. She wants you to, you know. Yeah, she is going to jail. But my point is that we got to know people. You understand? Now the ones now, the guy that was, I want to say his name, Carl Stokes, pissed me off. He come down in the streets and he dancing. He dancing because he want votes. Well, I ain't seen you. But you want me to come out and vote for you. Some of us was stuck with the same people because they ain't had nobody to go up. These same people been holding the same seats for so long.
Right.
Because we have trust issues.
No, because they stealing.
Right.
They
They
steal.
are. They are. Our schools, everything is terrible. It really is. And then they ask, why are we having so many shootings in Baltimore?
Because this is
And
why.
that's because our kids out here do not believe that no one cares about them. So what do they have to live for? You know, so we have to work on that.
I looked on a post, one of his old teachers, accused him. She wrote something the other day, they must have wrote it to the teachers. And it was saying, thinking about sending the teachers back. And one of the things that was in there, because everybody was chiming in, they thought that they should go back because they said right after the little boy got shot, the little boy died, they were saying,
Excuse me, that was the 14-year-old boy that got
Yes,
shot in the
yes,
head
Taekwon.
about a week ago.
yes,
Yes.
Taekwon.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. I knew the little boy, but what I'm saying is, they had came up school board. This was just this past week, and they were saying, I'm so used to being over. They were saying that they wanted to send the teachers back. If the kids were in school, none of these shootings would be happening. Wait a minute, that's what was said.
Don't blame that.
And I said, I chimed in, because I was like, another parent. I said, first of all, school's not daycare, number one. Number two, it's not my job to police nobody's children. My job is to make sure that he's a productive citizen in society and show him what he's supposed to do. Number four, the teachers are there to teach.
Yes.
Now, you can't blame these shootings on, God rest his soul, but you can't blame these shootings on the teachers. You gotta remember, we're doing virtual schooling right now. So at that time, whoever was out, any child, you know, they should have been in class. So that's on the parent. Because the parent was the one, they supposed to be, we having school at home. So there's no reason no child should be out at 11:45 in the afternoon. Whenever it took place.
Right.
I'm not taking a dig at them, I'm just saying to blame it on the teachers
Right.
and to try to expose them to something when it's not a cure right now. I think it's wrong because that didn't happen on the teacher's watch.
Exactly.
So how are you saying, well, if the school was open, there would be less kids?
No, that's another push to push our kids, our brown kids, in school. Exactly. In the midst of a in the midst of a pandemic where they know that they are carriers to bring it back home to people. You know, so yeah, that's all that was. That was a narrative to try to push them back in school.
Well, I said this last night in the restaurant, is that it's gonna be, we only have 3 months left of 2020. So we all need to start getting ready for the next big bad thing to happen.
Right.
We have to.
So what's the next big bad thing?
It could be the third wave of coronavirus. It could be World War III, because did you not hear the scares and fears?
Right.
You've been like starting to get scared of China been messing with India, and India could think it was us, because you not realize that China been really behind us.
So now that we're gonna pivot into the school. So what do y'all think could be done better about Baltimore public schools? Or Jalen is not in, he's in a charter school.
No, he's not in the charter.
What is the charter? I'm sorry.
No, he's not in the charter.
My bad.
No, it's all right. He's in the private sector, but he's in a Christian academy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
A
he's
Christian academy. I can be corrected. So what do, all right, Dre, we got Dre, y'all gotta come out the light. Come out the light. I see y'all was raising y'all hands over there. Come over this way, I'm sorry. come over this way, Dre. This is Tyrone. All right, what's up, Tyrone?
The empty streets.
Okay. So what do y'all think could be done better about Baltimore public schools?
Well, I don't think that it's not the teachers' fault. There's been a whole bunch of shootings. The thing I think is fault is because the gang related stuff. Because we was outside that day to get the little boy got shot, and Lydia had told us about it. And apparently he was just coming out the store, and apparently that kid right there killed another person.
Okay, that's what they say. What they say, we don't know. So it's allegedly. We're gonna say allegedly because we don't know.
Oh no, they know that the little boy killed the other dude. They just didn't go to court, so basically they just beat the case.
Oh, well, allegedly.
Allegedly.
I mean, karma's a.
Come on. Okay, come on. Dre, you got any opinion on this? No opinion at all? Okay, all right. So y'all back in school now, since we pivot on to school, how do y'all like the virtual learning?
I like it better.
Go ahead. You gotta come over this way, Dre. Yeah, thank you.
It does got its ups and downs. I like more breaks. I like that we get more breaks. Alright, I like that we get more breaks. But since I got a lot of energy, I tend to get distracted a lot. But I do keep on my schedule. But and that's relating to home, because I feel like home is better than actually going to the class, because we have like more accessibility to do things, like wear what we want to wear, or because I go to I have to wear an outfit in my school, so I don't really get that chance.
Right. So what about the learning though? Are y'all picking right?
I feel like I would be better in school to learn.
To learn in school, you would be better. Why?
Because the teacher makes sure you don't lose focus.
Yeah.
They can do that in virtual learning, but I feel like I just want to be present. You know, I just want to be in the classroom.
Right. In the midst of the pandemic, though.
No.
Right. So that's what we're talking about now. In the midst of the pandemic.
I mean, if we're adding a pandemic, then no, it wouldn't be a good environment.
Right. All right.
You know what? I know what you're saying, because what they're really missing, because he misses it too, and their uniform skills. They're missing the socialization skills. That's the part. I love
You miss who? Excuse me. Oh, you say
You
you
said
miss?
Mrs. Girlfriend.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
That's the only thing you go to school for.
Okay.
But, and on another note, what I'm saying is, they're so used to socializing, the kids really miss each other. Good or bad, even if, right now, if they walk past, you might be saying they never spoke to, but because they haven't seen each other in so long, virtual is fine, but I worry about the socialization skills and now contact, because that's a big part of life. Being that, you know, you can have a child and never, person homeschool all the time, but by the time they get out here, they don't know nothing, because all they know is the book stuff. But they ain't got no street knowledge at all.
Right.
Like, I mean, basic life skills, that's what I wanna call it. They don't have any life skills when they're going outside. Do you understand? But if you ask about the school system, first they need to stop stealing from the children. Then they need to tell us where all the money going. And we have all these things that we've been afforded from the government. That come on. So where the money? The same thing, like I think we mentioned about a week ago about the NACA school, NACA 1, NACA 2, and they was passing the students, and they in the news again, where they seen some grades that went to 40 to round out to 60. These people that got diplomas that shouldn't even walk across the stage. So they're
That's
doing
true,
our
too.
kids, yes, they're doing our kids disjustice. And any parent that's okay with that, then I say something wrong with you. I'ma say it. Because I'm gonna fight for everything. If he's supposed to have speech therapy, he gonna get it. If it ain't theirs, that's something he's supposed to have. If he's supposed to have occupational therapy, he gonna get it. And that's the point I'm telling you. You're taking stuff away from them. The children that's supposed to have those programs, then you're cutting stuff. Then you have programs for children back in the the day, we used to send them to some place called Child Study
Mm-hmm.
or Hickey.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yep.
They
Yep.
went there. But now they call it Pride. And
Mm-hmm.
they in the class with the
Right.
kids. And
Right.
they don't suspend them. They don't do nothing. They're always fighting. And they just come up now, Saturday school, this, that. No. If I identify you and he done bust my child in the head, I want him to be suspended. We're gonna go to court.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have to make an example.
Exactly.
As long as you keep, it's just like them talking about the repeat offenders.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the same thing like with the children. If you do not take a stand and discipline them at that time,
Right.
they're gonna think it's okay.
Mhm.
It's gonna be reoccurring. It's just like sending when you keep saying, "Why are these people back out on the street?" We found out, like the young lady the other day who was pregnant. She gonna use that, but y'all been robbing people.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? Then if you look back, that's why I said read the stuff before you spurred it, so
Right.
you can see it. When you look back and you read up on it, she already had a rape. So
Mm.
it ain't like, oh, I was scared of my baby, because they could have shot her like they shot that boy before. They drove the car to a county police officer. Remember? And then the officer died. My point is that she ran out there, she drove that car, and now you want us to feel sorry for you, but you've been terrorizing people. Look at the people you robbed. They had families.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't know what was going on. You know, I'm not saying anything bad, but justice done. You knew what you was doing when you did it. You did the crime. You need to do the time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I feel about them, and that's how I feel about the school system. If you
Right.
got people in the school system stealing, and you notice them, why are we still giving them a pension package?
Exactly.
You
Exactly.
understand? Why are they still allowed? And everybody keeps saying, you gotta remember when you say, they need to get rid of this person, they need to get rid of you gotta remember, every time they bring somebody from an outside entity, we still gotta give them that settlement at the end. So we still losing money. They got the salary we giving them, and then if we let them go, they get a package.
Right.
Let me
Right.
It's the money all around.
let me tell you what's messed up.
All right. And then after you, Jalen, Tyrone want to say something, and then Irvin want to say something.
Let me tell you something, okay? So, now that in the next few months, they're gonna like cut 30 or 40% of the school system. Like staff, teachers, all of them are like gonna get fired. But here's what I got. This is what makes me pissed. Like, why are you like? This is why the kids are gonna get hurt. This is why the kids got killed. Some of these kids got killed because you don't really do anything.
Mm-hmm.
But all we hear is it's like some of the teachers. They like talk during the class all the time.
Mm-hmm.
All the time they talk to them during the class. They don't really give us the sheets. They just talk. Talk and talk and talk. And you
Right.
say, oh, you got homework for this day. Like,
Right.
no, you just like took all the class down by talking. Just shut up and let you do the work.
Right, right. So it's no intentiveness, huh? So right, I
But
understand,
here's the
Jalen.
thing.
Wait a minute. Oh, go
I
ahead.
think it has its benefits too as well, because when the children was going to school, and the school system, because Baltimore is the poorest educational system
With your opinion, right?
in the country. No, that's just not my opinion.
Right.
That's facts. But what I like about it, because when I see my son sitting at the dining room table on a computer, and his teachers, and I'm a proud dad, but they ask for me, and I participate. And sometimes I might sit on the sidebar, and I'll be like, this is predicted by this and that. And then when my son gives the answer, and they praise him for that. Just for 2 days, I sat there with my son and pretty much teaching the class, because they asked me.
Mm-hmm.
And then me and my wife come in, and one of his teachers asking for me again. So this is the opportunity for the parents to really interact with their children and their schoolwork.
Mm-hmm.
You
I agree
understand
with
what I'm
that.
saying?
I agree with that.
Like that, because everybody keep talking about homeschool. Well, now your ass has got homeschooling. What the hell you gonna do now?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't wanna go to school today, but now, you got all the days you at home.
Right.
You know, and I agree with everything you're
Right.
saying.
They don't
I
want to
agree.
get up. They don't want to do this. They don't want to do that. But now that you home,
Right.
what the parents going to do now?
Right.
Because I
Their
think,
job, that they're supposed to be
Mhm.
doing.
because here's what I think. Not only that the teachers is going to teach them a percentage, in my opinion, but the parents is going to give them all the wisdom and knowledge. So this is why they need this connection together.
It
Mm-hmm.
starts at home. I agree with you.
It does.
And if you
It
notice,
really starts at home.
everything you saying is
Right.
right. And if you notice, we are back at the table, because we always ate dinner at the table together when we was coming up.
Yeah.
But no, I'm going this and go to the front. We ate, people are eating together now.
Mhm.
Families are shopping together. Families doing more stuff he said. And I enjoy that time. I enjoyed it the whole time. I love it. I wouldn't want to send them back. I
Mm-hmm.
love it. Because I can talk to them anytime. I can talk to them.
And we know that they're safe. Because before
Right,
the
they're safe.
pandemic, they was in these schools, they in a classroom of maybe 30, 40 students. They only got maybe, amount of teachers and no
Right.
hall monitors. They was in fights. They was in,
Alicia's
right,
right.
they was,
That's what I was
hurting.
talking
You can see on YouTube where they had fights in schools, they was fighting the teachers and all that, so.
These are
and-
benefits
Right, this
that
is
I'm
the,
talking about.
right, so it's good that they staying
Homeschool.
home.
I love it.
And you know where your child is, and you know that your child is safe.
I moved them from public school because I was there almost just every other day.
Right.
And when I got to the point where I was ready to lay my hands on somebody's child, I said, let's just give me his papers.
Mm-hmm.
Because I actually did touch it, and then somebody said something, and because when
No, no,
you feel
no, no,
like
no,
Right.
that,
Yeah, cause he gonna say something. It was his
when you
turn.
feel like that you get ready to do that, that's why I'm moving from public school. I agree with everything y'all saying right now. I don't have nothing to go against it. That was one of the reasons I moved him, for his safety. It wasn't even, he couldn't even learn. If you gotta worry about every time somebody behind you.
Right, with the bullying,
And with the
right.
bullying and the teacher sitting right there.
And
The
watching
schools ain't
them.
teaching these children anything anyway.
Right.
That's
They're
fine.
not.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Back to the whole private school situation.
You gotta speak up a little bit.
Back to the whole private school situation. I was in one of those power classes. It wasn't really like that. Kids will get suspended like as easily as the other kid did. Well, I don't know about any other school, but my school specifically, I was quiet, and then I made. It's not-
That's a lie.
Listen, the first time, listen.
You're not quiet now, so I know you wasn't quiet in school.
But you just
Go ahead.
said you were in pride. Okay, but maybe it's your fault. I'm trying to tell you. They don't have a,
Oh, my bad. I thought he said he was quiet.
no, he talking
He
about
said he was in
because I was
pride.
pride
Oh,
student.
my bad. I'm sorry.
Pride students are students who were put out of regular classes and things of that nature, and they were trying to transition them back to I'm saying
Right.
population like that.
Right,
But you know
because that's what it is.
Right, but it's like
It
a
is.
population. Now, me, I'm telling you what we witnessed, and went through at least 3 or 4 months of it till I was about to hurt somebody's child.
That was fucking water.
And he shouldn't have to go to school with that. I come there, I done did the police reports, I done did everything. I've showed up. I'm a mother to show up. So I was there. You never seen other parents. But if a child can stand there and go, oh, you a lying on, start arguing with me, and he do with a teacher, he do that at home.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't just doing that. He been doing that. And then some of the parents are finding they're scared of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so they know up at his school with this one, I don't know what they do at yours. They weren't doing that. They had different, each school had to set up a plan. And for their plan, they started out with Saturday school for them. And then different things of that nature. But the pride people I ran across, no, I wouldn't let them back into any classroom. they need to be in a separate school, like the schools we used to have, the alternative schools, that's where you need to go.
Special ed
That's where
somewhere.
they need to go.
Mhm.
Not even special ed,
Go-
those kids with developmental.
Right.
No ma'am, put
Mhm.
them out, put them where they supposed to, just like we had the Paquin School for the pregnant girls.
Right.
Go where you're supposed to go.
But they used to, go ahead, boo.
Cause when I was like in the fire classes, they made sure there was no bullying. But like any school you got outside was the problem, but they still made sure like everything was alright. But this time public schools, they don't do nothing about bullying.
Mm.
Not at all. So
Right.
that's one of the reasons why I got put in fire classes, because I used to get so mad. I used to get into a lot of fights and I got suspended a lot. But in the fire school that I was at, that was in, it really wasn't that bad. I made a couple like lifelong friends that I still know to this day.
Mm.
It has been hard sometimes, but I learned a lot from that. I learned a lot from that experience, and I've learned to socialize and be a better person, and that's why I'm not as short tempered as I used to be.
Oh my goodness. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Right.
So they
That's
need to
not
pass out, they need to pass
right.
the program.
Right. Okay, go ahead, son.
I got nothing to do.
Mm.
I got nothing to do.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, pass the mic.
What's the next subject?
All right, what's the next subject?
About that time me and Keon almost got struck by lightning.
No, that wasn't a subject. That was a story.
Or about a whole bunch of crazy
I
stuff.
thought we was talking about the our corner stores.
Yeah, the corner store, we think about,
Right.
different ethnic groups coming into our community, setting up stores but not giving back to the community, and as well as jacking up prices. Some, not everybody, they know they're not supposed to take the people's stamps for certain things, but they do,
Mm-hmm.
and charging them high on it, like, just like a bookie would, and then they kind of talk to you any kind of way.
Right.
Like you don't have nowhere else to go. They know that they might come to a community where there's nothing at, and they might just sit like in Cherry Hill or somewhere like that. They always had those trucks out there.
Mm-hmm.
Their corner stores with those big trucks.
Right.
Westview, Cherry Hill, all of them had the big trucks. Well, we only had the corner stores. So they assume, well, most of these people don't drive anyway, so we can charge them what we want. We can do what we want, and we can talk to them how we want.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've heard one time, people, she sold everything. You go 7-Eleven, you get out, you go,
Right.
you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but she said all that, I ain't gonna touch it.
Right.
But, said that to Dad.
Mm-hmm.
Especially that corner store down the street.
Right.
I promise you. Ever since I started living here, about like 5 years now, the bag of chips they used to cost like 25, they moved them up to 35, now they're 50.
Mm-hmm.
And the Monster Energy drinks.
Right, because down at that corner store down there, she don't have no prices on anything. No prices. And that's what I'm thinking. That's a form of extortion,
Oh, yeah.
because every time that a child or someone can go in there, they can tell them a different price. And it's a lot of those stores that's like that. And right, no, I'm gonna send them down there to downtown, because my son went down there a couple of times with a 20, come back with 50 cents for a bag of chips. Like, what is that for?
I promise you, one time I went to a Monster Energy drink. I went there with like $1, and I was like, "Can I get a Monster Energy drink?" She said, the lady said it was $1.50. And I came back with $2. And I said, "How much the Monster Energy drink cost?" She said it cost $2.50. And I said, "But earlier y'all said $1.50."
Right.
And he said, "All right."
All right. So
He tried to lie.
go ahead.
Cause I was running down the street like about a week ago. I was going down there about a week ago. I wanted a honey bun. They said it was like a Texas honey bun, right?
Texas.
Yeah, big Texas. I was getting a big Texas. And they said it was $1.50. But I didn't have $1.50. I just had $1. So I went back up there. I got 50 cents. I came back down. And she was steady raising the price in my face. And she went, no, I'm like, I had asked her, is $1.50 right? She said, no, it's $3.
What?
Oh, she is lying.
Oh
was getting mad.
See, that's why we need to stop going into those stores.
Yeah, no, but
That's the reason.
I mean, everywhere you go, the honey bun is just $1. Everywhere you go, how you gonna raise it a whole $2 more? That's you act like you wasn't gonna know that.
You're right.
Right. No, I wanted Urban to give you a little history on that. Why they do that?
And the other thing that I'm like, you know how you
Why
have
the-
something that's already pre-numbered, and they still put, like, you might say like a black amount, say 99 cents, but they charge you 150 for it. You know by law you can't do that, because when I sell my stuff in the summer, you know, when I buy chicken stuff, you have to sell what's on that bag. You can't
Right.
change, once it's price, it's price.
Mhm.
Then it might say 99 cents,
Mhm.
but in the store they'll tell you, oh, 150.
Right.
150.
Yeah, I just wanted Urban to give us a little history on why why the other nations come into our neighborhood and overprice that food that's no good to us and our children. Why do they do that?
Well, one of the reasons is because they know who we are. And the other reasons is that they don't care a damn thing about us. They will feed us and give us anything.
Rats, cats, dogs.
And what I'm not understanding is that everybody knows this, but yet we still spend our money with them. Because a lot of us don't understand that we have the power and they don't. We can shut them down any day given. But yet, you go into the nail salons, they fighting out women, treating them like crap. You go inside the Korean stores, they feeding you from doves, rats, and cats,
Snakes.
and all sorts of stuff. But they have this hate for us. They don't really care nothing at all about us.
But
And I'm gonna be
yet,
honest with you, I don't care for them either.
right, and yet
I
the
really
government have to allow them to come over here and put a store on each one of our corners. If you look around in any of our communities, majority of the stores is owned by other nations that don't care about us and don't put money back into our neighborhoods.
I don't know in the store.
Well, the main reason for that is because our nation of people has disobeyed the laws, statutes, and commandments and judgments of the Most High God. And in the scriptures, and I will quote that Deuteronomy 28:15, and I'm just paraphrasing here, that it clearly says that if we don't obey these laws, statutes, and commandments, that all these other people will be placed over us.
Mhm.
I'm just paraphrasing that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So what experiences have y'all had in the stores?
I mean, almost everywhere I go, it's like,
You don't have a mic, sir. You gotta give 'em-
I mean, around this whole entire neighborhood, I don't know any other corner store that's here that has no like American person or any type of other thing, because especially we go down there, there's a Chinese store there, there's a Chinese person, and the store that's next to a Chinese person, and
Right.
and there's a bar, there's two bars from each corner, and there's a Chinese person.
Mm-hmm. Right. That's because they all probably related and they funnel all the money from us and take back to their country. Go ahead, Trey.
I mean, if we be real, like, not just here, in any corner store around y'all live, or just any corner store, you don't see no dark-skinned people. You don't see, like, this people.
Mm.
I mean, but all the corner stores isn't all the same, especially the red store, because if you go there, they actually put eggs cheaper than they would be normally. Like I got like a tub of ice cream there for only like $5, and there's another tub there for like $4.99. There's only 1 cent above. And the people there are really nice, and the people, like, you get to interact with the people, they're very nice, people.
What store is this?
It's a store over there on Montpelier.
Oh, okay. Alright.
It's very nice people, but but especially the people down there, they're not as nice because you say one wrong thing, do one wrong thing, they start yelling at you and stuff.
Right, because they don't respect us.
Here's the thing. Has anybody noticed that? Has anybody noticed that?
No, 50 cents. No, I want my penny. No money. Get out.
Somewhere,
Get out, my
you
friend.
ever see the stores? You ever see the stores, and there's some of them. You can tell they give back because if you walk in, they have the little league of the community, like it might say,
Yeah.
it might say, because they sponsor the teams and the children in that community.
Right.
And that's what
They
it's
got the
about.
picture up.
Right.
We don't know though.
No, these are people that
Right.
sponsor, help with uniforms and things of that nature. I know 3 stores, in fact, that does that.
Okay.
But my point, what I'm trying to make is, I understand where you're going with it, but we're missing the mark. What I'm trying to say, between that transition and stuff, where are the people supposed to go?
Right. That's why I say organization.
Right.
Organization.
Well, first of all, we gotta build it first.
All right, go ahead, Dre.
So we can have some.
I forgot what I was saying.
Right. We was talking about the corner store.
I forgot my comment.
Oh, okay. Y'all gotta remember y'all comments.
Like, y'all stuff,
You just quiet, bro. You scared something? No, y'all talking over me.
Oh. Well, you gotta raise that voice, son. Come on.
I
So,
don't got nothing to say now.
oh, okay. All
film.
right.
Y'all don't
Right.
listen enough for me.
All right. So, what's the next topic?
I have it.
Excuse me. Somebody else gotta speak. What's the next topic?
It was on the sheet.
I got shut down.
All right. What topic?
Okay. Travis Scott, the time me and Keon went down.
Excuse me. Can we talk? We talked 3 times. Come on.
Yeah, this is gonna be about our Travis Scott story. Well, the Travis Scott burger story.
So, what's this? Fast food. That's where we at now. All right.
fast
Fast
food.
food.
And we gonna talk about how me and this man, Tyrone, had got the Travis Scott burger. So,
We're not on that. This is true.
So, me and him just chilling, right? We chilling. I'm watching YouTube, and an app pops up, remind me of the Travis Scott burger. So I had told him, and he said, "Oh, cool, trying to get it." I said, "Yeah, but how we gonna get there?" Then there's McDonald's. It's like down the street, like.
That's a drive through.
Yeah, he said drive through, but I'm like, you don't got a car, you can't be lying.
And then I said, go get your bike.
And he had the bright idea to get a bike. And I had to walk. While he drove the bike. I couldn't even see him anymore. You know how tired I was? Alright, so we get to McDonald's, right? And I'm like, how are we gonna do this? Because I forgot we was gonna go to the drive-thru, and I forgot to bring my mask. So, and then he gonna remind me to go to the drive-thru. And I felt so embarrassed. I looked dumb in the drive-thru. I was over there waving at people, embarrassing me. I was so nervous as soon as I got to the window to pay for it.
I have to speak for him. The lady was so what you want to eat? I'm like, and I was like, oh, can we get that Travis Scott burger?
Oh, so how was the burger once you finally got it?
Mediocre.
It was bad, you know.
There was only one patty in there. Come on now.
What's the name of it's the new Travis Scott burger?
Well, it wasn't bad, so to speak.
I mean, it's food, right? I mean, everybody probably hurt us in the long run, but it's still food.
I mean, we still can say a lot of something.
Okay.
But now we can say we got the Travis Scott burger.
But look, what you see? This is what I did. Y'all may call me nasty, but I took a bite of the burger, I took some fries, and then drank the soda. And it just gave me a whole new view of the sandwich. That actually made it pretty much decent, not good, decent.
Oh, cause you had to eat it all together.
Yes.
Oh,
And
okay.
then somebody came, you know what I'm saying? We over there chilling.
We but
Can I please it?
Go ahead.
Alright, so me and Dre over here, we're having the everybody joking around eating the burger. It's freedom. Making Travis Scott,
Ad-libs.
ad-libs and stuff like that. And then this girl comes along, right? As we're having a fun time, she messes with Keon, and then she slaps my fries out of my hand. And
What?
it's just a bad, it's just a bad. I got mad. I was like, no, you better take you whatever that is right there on somewhere else.
All right, did he try the burger, Jalen?
No, he didn't.
But if a girl slaps the fries out of my hand,
I can't hear you. What you say? Say it again.
If a girl slaps fries out of my hands, the rules are broken.
Like what rule?
Keon,
What
can you
rule?
slap the fries out? You slap the hair out.
Oh my.
You slap the weave out.
So let me give you some. About the leave out? Alright, so let me get back to our little girl.
Mm.
Let's call it,
What?
let's call it,
Don't go on that side, y'all can't see me.
Right.
It seems like it's teen something.
Mm.
we're just gonna call her
T.
Big T.
T-H. Yeah, we gonna call it
Yeah,
T-H.
yeah, we're just gonna call her Big TH, right?
I want to hear about the man broke
Go ahead. Go ahead. Y'all keep cutting him off.
And the thing about Big TH is, like, she just be wild for no reason. She be over there trying to hug you, be all up against you, rubbing on you. And you be like, get off, give me some space, right? Like, give me some space, right? But no, she keep right up on you. And she's gonna do some, she's gonna be doing some weird stuff. All up against you, right? And then,
You can't touch it.
like, and then as soon as you get away from her, you turn the corner and she right there. Right? And that's like, it can be like a couple weeks after you see her. You can just be chilling. You can just be chilling on the phone,
Not
grab
expecting.
her. Huh?
Not expecting.
Yeah, not expecting her. And then she just be coming out of nowhere. She just appears. She just spawns.
So wait a minute. So what are y'all saying? That she's a stalker? What are y'all saying?
Oh, listen, she is nowhere near Starker. When she's not bothering us, she's out somewhere THing. Like, cause
What's TH in it?
dying.
Oh, that.
Listen,
Oh my.
You can never trust her. Listen, I'm a nice guy, so somebody needs to come and give me a hug. Everybody needs a hug sometimes, you know what I'm saying? But with her, you give her her shoes. What do you whisper in your ear? Grab my butt. Listen, I don't put my hands on women, but let me tell you something. She was the only person I got so close to, just to punch her right in the face.
Oh my. So she's real aggressive, is what y'all
Like,
saying?
yeah, she's real aggressive.
Disrespectful.
Yeah.
Yeah, disrespectful, and she comes on to people like sexually, and she don't got good to say.
Basically sexual harassment.
It is. It is.
It is.
So
Code 2-7.
Yeah, so while we eating a burger, right, she appears. First, I saw her like on the sidewalk.
Down.
Like, yeah, down the street on the sidewalk. She was in a dress with like a little part cut out. It was like a sundress. But it was cold though. I was wearing a hoodie. I don't know why she was wearing that dress.
We were both in it wasn't that cold outside.
It was like cold.
It seems like y'all taking more interest in her than she is.
right.
Because if you know that this is where she gonna be and this is the thing she's doing, why go near her?
We
didn't. We didn't.
Listen, we didn't even know. Listen, I haven't seen her in like a month. I forgot all about her. I didn't care. I was totally oblivious. I didn't even think she
Y'all know the difference between good touch and bad touch. And just because somebody come up and
The
hug
slithers.
me, I tell him that too, because those girls run up, hey Jalen, and I say, don't hug anybody. Don't, I try to teach them about good touch and bad touch. I said, because somebody else, don't have to be them, somebody else can see it and see it the wrong way. And then it becomes, doesn't matter how old you are, it becomes, well, when you get caught, say if you have a fast, I'm gonna say fast little girl,
Yeah.
and they run up and they hug your son, cause I've seen this. I pull him close and I said, don't you hug her back, don't do this, no touching in school. She can say hi and all that kind of stuff, because somebody, suppose she get caught, and then she said, he touched me.
Exactly.
Then that person gonna go to the school and say, well, this child, then you got a charge.
It's called the Me Too movement.
It is, and it's not funny. So I'm telling you this for a reason. I'm listening to you guys, and you're saying it in a joking fashion, but I'm trying to tell you right now, this day and age, we can't just run up and hug no more. We can't run up and just, cause that's my friend. No, there is no more of that. Because that can become a charge, even if you did nothing good. It turns it around, especially I've seen children, and they have done some of the worst things, but they got caught because they've been doing it for a long time. They just got caught this time. But then it turns around, oh no, we grew up with somebody like that. And then when she got caught, she hollered,
Rape, exactly.
it actually happened. No, seriously, it did. And this was during our childhood. So I'm just trying to just say that. I'm not trying to take away from anything that you guys are saying. I hear you. But also, when you see this person, go the opposite way. You don't have to stand there, because for you to be able to describe everything she's doing, you're standing there. You can remove yourself from that situation before you become something else. So remember that.
Alright, so as I was saying before,
Okay, go ahead. Wait a minute.
she forces herself on you. Like, you could be walking away, she straight up chase you. She will run after you. Like, I don't know what's wrong with her.
Yeah, it's something gotta.
Bless
Yeah.
her parents though. Listen, I was spending the night over my friend's house. It was his little brother's birthday. We were just hanging out. You know what I'm saying? And it was about like 12 o'clock in the morning. We was just chilling on this porch, and we wasn't walking around doing anything. We were just chilling on this porch because it was a little hot in this house. So we couldn't go back in the house. We got a knock on our door. We get a knock on the door. So we look out the window. All we see is her. We open up the door. All we see is her. So the first instinct I did, because we met her that day before. It was a couple days ago. My first instinct was to push her out and close the door, but she kept knocking on the door.
Oh my goodness.
She goes over to the back, starts knocking on the door.
Where was the parents at?
Exactly,
Anybody's
she
parents?
got dropped off. That's why I said it's the parents. She got dropped off here.
Right, and the parents to the house that she was knocking on. Who was there?
See, look, we was getting watched by my friend's uncle by the time, and he had left to go to the store. He wanted to go get my friend's little brother a little present because he was a little late on it. So and then as for the time he's gone, she somehow makes her way in the house. She damaged me. Like she, listen, when Keon says she's aggressive, like sexually aggressive and stuff like that, she did she went for my pants so many times.
Wow.
She keeps lifting up her shirt without no bra on.
All right, hold on. So, I want y'all to like, subscribe, and share. If y'all have any comments on how we should handle this situation, please leave them below. Any comments on how to handle an aggressive young lady? Leave the comments below.
She has her whole her whole life ahead of her, and she said he's doing this. Her parents should teach her right from wrong. I bet she lived all the way down from.
That's
Fremont.
okay. That's all right.
Alright, I'm just gonna give out like a little bit more details about this one girl lady thing. Like, she will do anything with anybody. And it's not just a specific person that she will like.
Yeah, it's something going on with
Right?
her.
And she's young. Like
she's 14.
she's 14, smashing a dude that's 33.
Oh my, that's
And don't be recorded though?
Yeah. I spoke with this man, telling her about her, right? And yo said, hey yo, that's my girl. Don't talk about her. Don't do that. Don't do this.
You talking about Tupac?
That's it?
Okay, come on, y'all, with the names, no. Go ahead.
No. That's not Jackson.
Okay.
That's like-
he's either Tupac or the big tall dude.
But there's like two people. I spoke to one.
Well, yeah, she, my friend that,
Mm-hmm.
my friend that was,
Mm.
my friend.
Why? Oh, go ahead.
My friend that was, my friend's little brother that was having his birthday, the one that was there, he was in a car with her. Wow, she was getting,
We got it.
Right.
yeah, with that show, man. And I mean, when he said, he just hung up, but I at the end of the day, I kind of feel bad for her because she hasn't got that type of teaching that a kid her age should have gotten.
She doesn't know right from wrong.
Right.
Yeah, because she out here early in the morning, we're like 5, 4, 3, any hour she would be out doing stuff for people and stuff like that.
Right.
I mean, we keep telling her to stop doing that type of stuff, but she won't.
One thing I want to say, I do want to commend y'all for really knowing the difference and being aware enough to know that that behavior is wrong. So I want to commend y'all on that. But I want y'all to be aware, like Aunt Renee said, and keep your distance because it is it's going to be a disaster
Yeah, 'cause she
at the end. If not with y'all, it's going to be with somebody else because something obviously is wrong with this young lady. And along with the comments and the parents that do care, we're going to get together and see if we can find out who her parents are, at least have a conversation. You want to finish your point, Dre? And then after you finish your point, pass it to Jayla.
I'm just ready.
Yeah.
So,
So you gonna tell us about your girl?
alright, so, she lives across the street from me.
Mm-hmm.
So, my mom is like getting too suspicious. She was like thinking I'm getting suspicious. I'm like, I'm not getting suspicious, Mom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just outside. I'm just getting my phone.
We're gonna sum it up a bit. That ain't what happened. No. What happened was, he knows the children at school. We just moved to this community. There is a house, but I believe that the lady has foster kids. So, these are children never really, you don't know nobody there.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, he comes running through the house, and he's running from the front door to the back door. And then he's hollering this person's name. I'm not gonna say her name. He's hollering her name. And I said, who is that? Because we ain't been here long enough, besides our neighbors right beside us. And he said that get this, Irvin. He said, oh, we in a relationship together. That's what he said. I said, get in here. I said, you ain't in a relationship. He couldn't even tell me, he didn't know. It's a group of them. I said, well, which one is, and I said the name. He said, I don't know. I know she's short. So how you in a relationship? You don't know the girl. You know nothing about her. All they do is come by the gate. I think they just be messing. And then at the time, a lot of them started coming around because they knew he sold snowballs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's your way of getting stuff. You know, and I keep telling them, a person gonna like you for you, not for what you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And they're gonna always, I have friends, and I'm gonna say this one right here. I don't have to see her for 5 or 6 months. But when I do see her, it's still the same.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? You got some people, I don't mess with that person no more. No, I can actually say, I still have at least 5 or 6 friends from when I grew up.
Mm-hmm.
And I can say, you know, I have a lot of them, but I don't have to see them every day. But what I want to say to y'all about this young lady, y'all are invested too much in it because you know too much about it. So for you to say she's doing, it becomes now that you guys are becoming the problem because you need to stay away. You need to stay away.
Like, go ahead, move. You can work it out. You gotta let somebody else talk. Trey, what's your name?
Oh, I'm sorry,
Tyrone.
Jim, you can finish, I'm sorry.
Tyrone, let him finish his story real quick.
I'm Tyrone in the streets.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Just finish up what you
So what she did was, she tried to lie to her friend saying that me and her go out. When in reality, we never did go out.
Right.
She didn't have enough yard.
She lied to her sisters and say that I was her boyfriend. In reality, she wasn't. So what happened is because I saw her and she looked cute, so I just played on to it the whole time. When really that I was supposed, when really like I was in the fault because I let her get too close to me, not knowing that like because they're like a big family, and you know like it could have been way different.
You don't know where them foster kids coming from.
Right.
A lot
And
of
then
times
you
when
got-
people get foster children, they already getting them with a problem. They already have something else going on.
Right, so I wanted to comment on you saying, so I want to comment on you saying stuff about they
Part of the problem.
yeah part of the problem. Can you say we're starting to be part of the problem? We keep on including ourselves in it. Like I'm telling you, we distance ourselves away from her that we forget about her for months and months, and she just keep popping up. I don't know if she lives around the area or stuff like that. She don't.
He just proved my point. I ain't got nothing else to say.
Now that she just be up there a lot.
Right.
And this is around our area, around a corner store, around his area. And we just trying to do our own thing, mind our own business. She just pop up.
Right.
And it's not that we're intentionally including ourselves. We will see her, we will run right in the house. She will see us, make eye contact, run in the house. Like, simple.
She shouldn't even know where you live.
I know, but she did.
One,
Not.
listen,
Oh.
she don't know where he lives, but the only reason she knows I live is because one of my friends, like she was around where he lived at, so he didn't want to be involved there, and he was nowhere near his house. So the first place he thought to go was down my house because whenever he was like he in a fight, I'm there, I'm a protector. So he runs down here and eventually like leaving her there. And then she's all up on me. I said, well, I got a girlfriend. I don't do that. Even if I wasn't a girlfriend, I still wouldn't let you do that.
Right.
So she's still got on. And at this point, I'm starting to lose my patience. And I tell her, I tell her, listen, you're getting mad. Leave or stop. Listen, I don't even got a problem with you being across the street. Just don't be on my porch. And then she goes to grab my pants. Now listen. When I say if she didn't block, if she didn't block it, I would have slapped her.
Right. Okay. See, and that's what Aunt Renee was saying. That's exactly what she was talking about.
Yeah.
That's what gets you in trouble. Because if you would have slapped her, she went and told the police. Guess who was going to jail?
It don't matter what she did.
Guess who was going to jail?
I wrong the entity.
Exactly.
Alright,
So that's what we're talking about.
I got a question on your quote-unquote girlfriend. You say that she's short, and she was in a big group of kids, right? You know her name?
Yeah, but we're not saying it. That's why I didn't say it.
We'll say it after we cut.
I just,
Wait, my bad.
yeah, no, that's why I didn't say
Yes,
it.
no
We'll say it
question.
when the cameras are cut.
It's like a yes or no question.
Yeah, but he wasn't gonna do that. I know.
I want to go back to
He wasn't gonna say it.
Because what I was saying, well, my point was,